Hello, hello there, outliers. Niiamah Shang here, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey. We here on the Outliers Edge Podcast Network find ways to keep connecting you with amazing people who are game-changing leaders and entrepreneurs who refuse to do anything less than to help shape a new world of possibility. I get a chance right now to introduce you to an amazing outlier that we've just been jamming and have been really seeing what the future may behold. And I think that y'all we're in for an absolute treat. Today we have Krystal Vernee. Krystal, thank you so much for making the time to be here. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for honestly and truly energizing me by like through your presence and how you look at the world. How you doing today?
I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Outliers, we typically allow our conversations to be real and genuine and allow it to, I call it emergent. There's a method to my madness when it comes to these conversations, which is like to actually be present rather than to be anywhere other than like the conversation that's here. What I can say though is, Chris, are you good with me sharing a bit about who you've been to me as we
Yeah,
come into this
absolutely. Go
conversation?
ahead.
Okay. Uh, what I get about you, Krystal, is that like is that you're incredibly playful, but you don't play. You're incredibly playful, but you don't play. And when the like I want to play more with the you don't play because I you'll hear me use language of play a lot. The you don't play part to me is like you like when you get something done, you show up in it, right? It is not like, hey, let's just bring our like the our B game or our C game or like let's pretend that like we're just entering into the field and that we're a lot more than what we are. It's like no, like if I get the sense that if you're entering into a new field, you do your research, you talk to all the other A players in the game, and very quickly you go through whatever the process is to bring yourself up to the level of excellence that you know that you want. And those who are not hitting that level of excellence, you give them an opportunity to show up. And if they're not, then it's like, look, this is the game I'm playing. I'm playing it on the all-star level, you know? Like, and I invite you to come and join me. I see that in you because you not only do it once, but you like I know you have multiple things going on. And in each of those things, you choose to bring like a high caliber to it. And at the same time, Chris, so one of the reasons I say you're playful, but you don't play, it's like you're easy to talk to. Like we have a lot of smiles, you know. It's just one of those things where I personally appreciate the outlier that is you. In just choosing to be like, look, this is the game I want to play. You're welcome to come play it. And if it's not for you, you're also welcome to like sit in the sidelines, watch on it, like, but you gotta like this is what it takes to come and join us on the field. So that's right now, that's what feels present to me. You're so much more than that, but that's what feels present to me. Any comments on that? Anything you want to like set the record straight on before we continue out there?
Well, let me just say that's scarily accurate, actually. So I think you did a really great job at describing me to a T, pretty much. Like you said, I have multiple things, multiple businesses going on, business ventures, if you will. And I think, like I said, I'm blunt, I'm real. I'm not going to coat the truth. I've also been like deemed, what is it called? A truth bomb. I'm a truth bomb or, truth bomb dropper because I'm just gonna tell you how it is. And you can not like it, but these are the facts. And, I always like to operate in facts, not feelings, especially when it comes to business. So, yeah, I think that was pretty accurate.
That's just the beginning here, Crystal. Here, like so, outliers. Like, I want to. As we do this, my style is to again emerge as it comes in. So I'm going to reflect some of the things I hear, right? Because I want people to really get a chance to see you, in addition to how great the things you do are. Some of what I hear here, outliers, is like I just want to just start with how much you own who you are, Crystal. Right? You're like I'm a truth bomber. Like that's it. You know. Uh, and as you were saying that, what it got me thinking was like there's certain people in the world who play at a high enough game such that like all around them they have fib layers, like or like straight up liars, in different ways. People who are like who mean well, maybe it's white lies, little bit less than what they overpromise, underdeliver, so on and so forth. And I feel like for you, it's like But what I got is like, you can own that you're a truth bomber. And it's like, hey, there's a group of people out there who play at it like at a national. I think about like me, even as like a CEO, other CEOs, where it's like, I can't, no one tells me what's actually happening for fear of repercussion, for like, for respect, whatever. It's like, but to spend time with the truth bomber, like my heart is like, oh yeah, okay, we're gonna have a good combo now. I don't have to. I actually get to relax because I know that I don't have to work so hard at finding my own truths, because Krystal's not going to let it live in our space without it detonating. Let me just check in with you on that there. But I want to call out for outliers in here. If any of you are like have the skill and you're not owning it, or you have something similar and you're not owning it, just saying like, this is what it is, bring yourself into alignment on it and recognize the benefit that it can have for others. Because I'm already intangibly feeling like, oh, I can, this conversation will be easy because I got a truth bomber on my team right now. Like
Yeah.
nothing's just gonna slide. What
Yeah.
you got on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's real. I can appreciate that. But yeah, I don't like, you don't have to be someone else. And I would encourage you not to be anyone else. Be you. And I think you can relax and find peace in really just accepting who you are. I can't tell you how I thought I had to put on like before doing some work on myself. But the more that I accepted that, yes, I'm a nerd. I'm good at math and science. Yes. I enjoy things like anime and sci-fi movies, and yes, I like sports. Things that probably women typically don't like. Yes, I like bourbon. Like, I just unapologetically be myself wherever I go, and you like it or you don't, and I'm okay with either of those things. But that just makes me be, I think, a better person for everyone around me, and they know that regardless, I'm going to tell them the truth. Plus, I can tell you the truth in a nice way, and it still be the truth. I don't have, have to be an a-hole about it. But I always tell people I'm always going to tell you the truth, even if it hurts, even if you don't want to hear it, because I feel like there's healing in knowing the truth. It may take you some time to accept it, but I think you can just live a more authentic life when you live in what's true. So
Mm-hmm. So I want to keep building off this here. One of the things that I like to do at the beginning of our conversation, just to set some context for people, right? Because I've had the pleasure of knowing that, like, again, you're not someone who just like heard this on another podcast the other day and said, you got to live your authentic, unapologetic self out there. And this is my world. Like my world is like helping people bring out their authenticity and leverage that into their impact in their business, so on and so forth. But there's a depth to you that comes along with this from a lived experience. And what I would love to hear is for you to give us some context of whether it's a truth bombing or not, but about you in business. Like, help us see like that component of you, business and impact. I think a lot of us here are really focused on that. And that way we can spend more of the conversation focusing on who you are. But I guess the thing in my mind is, it's not authenticity for authenticity's sake. I am deeply curious about, like, so what do you do with that?
yeah, no, I think that's a great question. Um, I always tell people, like, if you're in business to make money, then you're doing the wrong thing. And the reason why I say that, not to say that you shouldn't want to make money, right? But just because from a entrepreneurial standpoint, from a visionary standpoint, like, um, if you have impact and influence, the income will surely follow, right? And so keeping impact first, right? How am I impacting the people that I'm serving, whether that's my clients or whether that's the greater community, right? Um, you, I think, will find meaning, success. You can most surely be yourself, because who you are is what you attract, right? And so you're looking to build a community, you're looking to serve, which to me is very important. I think I often work mostly with heart centered or heart led folks, which is, I think, why we kind of get along so well. The income comes, and from a business perspective, once I stopped trying to make money so hard and started to focus on the impact that I had, the more success that I was able to experience. So for me,
All
it's
right.
like, okay, how is this going to impact the people that I'm trying to serve and or the community, or what, how can I further impact in through my influence? What does that do? Like, how is that going to change things or not? And then once I get those things in alignment, the income just comes.
I love this here. So, because I'm gonna play with this because yeah, I'll play with that in a bit. Do me a favor here. Make it real for us, right? Um, Essentially, and I'm gonna just be since we're talking truth bombs here, right? Let us know about the success that you've had in business and how, and you can tie it back to the levers that the impact and how that you've had throughout there. But like, give us a chance to see like what game are you playing right now, right? Let us see that real quick, and then we're gonna take all the rest of this and be like, see, this wasn't all like it all comes from somewhere. All right, outliers, let's listen up.
Yeah, so I guess let's start with my longest running business, which is Turn 10. So that's my pole dancing studio. Yes, I said pole dancing, Pole dancing, and aerial arts, Divas and Dolls Fitness. It's in Temple Hills, Maryland. It's a brick and mortar space. And that, like I said, that company is, or my location is 10. The business is actually like more like 11 years old, actually. Um, but taking it back to what I said about focusing on impact and influence and income will come, when I first started the business, it was for there were personal reasons, but there was also like a greater good reason, in the sense that like pole dancing gave me like a sense of confidence because I had forgotten who I was as a woman. It also allowed me to explore dance, which I never got to do at a young age. And so there was a lot of different elements there for me. And I was like, I want to give this back to other women. So how can I do that? I have the means, right, and the business mind to open a studio and do the things. Well, of course, when you first open a business, things don't always go the way you think they're gonna go. So my business wasn't that successful. And I just kept focusing on, okay, I gotta make more money. I gotta make more money. At the time I was married, and my ex-husband was not supportive. So he was just like, you're just throwing money down the drain and you're never gonna make it. And a lot of negativity was, on that business for different reasons. Um, and so once I just said, okay, let's cut the crap. And I need some help, number one. So cut the crap. I need some help. I need to go find people that have been successful at this and are successful currently. And I know that there's a system. And once I can learn the system, I know that I can be successful. It's proven. There's no way that I can fail. So I surrounded myself with people who were already doing what I wanted to do. They had successful studios, multiple locations, multi six figures, some seven figure owners. And I was like, okay, it's possible. So now I don't have to listen to anything else anybody else is saying, because I have seen what's possible. I have seen the numbers. I have seen the space. It's not fake. It is for real. And so then I align myself with those people and I do what they tell me to do. Get business coaches, come to these trainings, implement these things, and boom. Like, we see success. And I just keep doing that. And as I stop focusing on the income and the impact, I can now create things that better serve the market that I'm in the DMV, right? What do my clients need the most? So I can create packages around that, new programs around that. I can go learn new skills. So I brought in like a whole circuit skill set. So now we're doing lyra, we're doing acro stuff, we're doing silks, right? But doing that and growing a multi six figure business and being able to become a full time entrepreneur, that's one business from the ground up, right? But I started to focus on the impact and how it was impacting people, and having people come and say, you saved my marriage. I got out of an abusive relationship. I wanted to kill myself, and coming to your space, right? Like, has prevented me from doing that. And now I have new friends and I'm in a better relationship now. Like, the impact was why I kept going. Because there were many times where I was just like, F this. Like, this is too much. Because I was also working full time. Um, and as I kept seeing the impact and the influence that my business had, right? And influence comes later, I think, even too. Like, I tell people, it's nice now to be recognized. Like, I got recognized in the airport. You're the dance lady. I would follow you guys on Instagram. I'm like, what? Like, oh, okay. I mean, stuff like that which I wasn't even really, I didn't like, I guess stuff like that didn't even dawn on me as like something that would actually happen one day. Somebody would recognize me. So that was kind of cool, but those are the type of things that keep me going and increase my success, increase my income. And from there, and after getting rid of some negativity, some negative influences, including my ex, I started 3 more businesses. So, and from there, just growing those from the ground up, going in different spaces, uncharted territory, so to speak. But just continuing to do the same thing. What's the impact that I'm making? And for my coaching business, really, it's about empowering women in entrepreneurship. And so I really want that. I really want women to succeed, and I want to see more women be able to like have it be a sustainable, viable income source for themselves, not just something that I do on the side on the weekends when I have time. So that's like an insight, the impact and what I'm able to do, like surely directly affects my income.
Ooh, I'm glad we went there. I'm really glad we went there. There's a number of different reasons here. I want to make sure you just brought up your coaching business at the end of this year. So I want to make sure that like for anyone that's listening and it's like, oh, like A, I want more truth in my world. B, I want to go impact first, then income. I believe in that. I know that. Tell us a little bit more about like your coaching business right now, and then we'll keep expanding the conversation.
Yeah, so my coaching business is called Simply She. The She, capital SHE, stands for Slay Hard Every Day. So I'm a alliteration acronym person. Yes, I
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
am.
You because you know it works. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but
I gotta tell you, like I spent like what I feel was too long. I had gotten like 4 eyes in my pillars. I was like, either I'm gonna do three or I'm gonna do five. And they always like started with an I and then ended with an Asian. And I was like, I gotta go on. It's like I gotta go online and just spend the time finding the rest of them. Like it's ideation, ended up being innovation. That was the last word I was looking for. I was like, yes, that's the word. So like
yeah.
I'm all in, like because you know it works. You know it works. Tell us more. Tell us more.
Yeah, so what we do for our clients in my coaching business is we actually have a done for you service plus coaching. So we focus on helping our clients to actually build their offers online. So their lead magnets, their low ticket, their high ticket offers, their coaching programs. We build out their sales funnels. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that's the back end of what you see from a web page and how you get people to buy stuff from you in your sleep, essentially. um, and just set up their automations in the system. So the coaching piece of it comes in when we help them strategically position themselves online. So basically, you get not only you get your products, but you also get insight in how to market and sell them.
That's fantastic here. And I'm realizing as you're talking, there's a dialogue that's going in my mind, which is like, oh, like I'm giving Crystal a lot of space to talk about like what she's doing, right? And I realized that like, yeah, because the thing is like you are already living, you are the truth already. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's an element here where like I don't feel like I need to go and ask all these different questions here because I feel like in the way that you answer in your being, the answers are already coming through. And I'm just really like I'm drawn to it. I think you're a powerful demonstration of yourself. And allies, I want to call these things in, right? Like even just the way you talked about your coaching business. I feel like there's like so much fidelity that's in it. There's so many things about what you're saying. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like these are my plans. These are what things I'm working towards. And like when you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes it's a real thing. To your point of it's possible. When I heard you say it, I'm like, this is something I've been thinking about for a while. Like I've been working towards it, but she's doing it. It's not a it could be done. It's just happening. And now we got to go with the next thing. So
Yeah.
outliers, I'm gonna just put this out here for y'all. Like, what's something that y'all been thinking about, like, could be possible? Maybe you saw it happen once or whatever, and like, what would need to shift for you to step from the what if world or wouldn't it be nice world to it's already here. Maybe it's still growing, maybe it's still building, but it's already here. Chris, so I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts? Anything that I just said here, there? I'm playing with you differently here, but it's because I think you're awesome, and so I'm just like, let's just go with it.
Thank you. Yeah. So I think, well, what came to my mind was when you said that, I was like, yeah, I'm dangerous like that. So if you show me
Mm.
that something's possible, I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's gonna be done. Like
Yes.
That's period. I'm definitely I'm a doer, I'm an implementer. So like I do have the ideation part of my personality,
Mhm.
but when it comes down to it, I'm an implementer, which is why I think the done for you side of my business works so well is because I was like, I need to be done.
Mhm.
I need it to be done so that we can move on to the next step of like making it do what you want it to do. And I think a lot of times people get stuck in thinking about what the thing is or how it's going to perform. We don't know how it's going to perform unless some version of it's done. So the engineering part of me steps in, and it steps in a big way to say, okay, we gotta fail if it's gonna like we gotta fail and fail fast to our next success. Like that's how we have to look at things in an iterative way. And so that's kind of how I also build my business. It's like, all right, this is iteration one. This was all right, but we could do better. Like we could do way better. So let's take this back and we're going to re-put it back out, rebrand it, or just here's the next version. I think people get stuck on, like iteration zero a lot of times in their life. They don't even ever move on to one because they never put out the thing that they have been thinking about.
I am sitting here just nodding. My head's like resting on my hand here. I'm like, you say it, Krystal. What I also just want to make sure I know that we as outliers don't miss this was like y'all notice how Krystal just like slid in there, like it's my engineering in me, you know? And like so in addition to this here, right? So you have the business, you have all this thing going on, but you're an engineer as well. And the two things that come up for me on that is one, like I love talking to my outliers because like if you pay attention, you can't really guess what they've done in life, but nothing feels out of place. You know, you're like, yeah, my pole dancing business, I help people with coaching. I was an engineer, like, but it all makes sense. Like this, like I say that uh it was unexpected, but it wasn't surprising. It's unexpected, but it wasn't surprising. I'd like to hear how you are bringing those different parts of you all into the mix because in a lot of different ways, like the reason that I do this podcast is to keep showing possibilities. Like I don't teach too much on here. I'll invite outliers to spend some time to reflect, and I bring on experts, but not for their expertise. I bring them on for their experience, for the way
Mm.
that they see life, for the way that they're doing things, so that and because I've been alone, and I'm very good at creating isolation for myself. I'm so good at it. It's my number one fear, being alone, and yet somehow I just keep doing it over and over again. I think that there's something really real about like just hearing how people like keep implementing things that others may be like, how I don't get it, and yet it makes complete sense overall. We're gonna be wrapping up soon, but I'd like to get your thoughts on that point in particular, and then we're gonna speak specifically to we have a couple like wrap up conversations questions in here, and if we need to have a part two, which I actually kind of feel like we should have another conversation. I'm over here like fanboy and over here like it's, but I just think you're cool. Um, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll just keep expanding. But yeah, is there anything that catches you based on anything I just said right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think um, for me, in terms of like people getting wrapped up, getting stuck, that's kind of like what I'm hearing. And I think also too a big part of that comes down to what people think of them or how they think people are going to react and if they do certain things. That was like one of the first things I had to kind of get over. And it took a minute because I think as humans, like a lot of us, we need that validation.
Mm.
But when you can learn to self validate, like that is that's a skill, right? Like that's a skills you have to
Bring
build.
that really right here because I heard the laugh and I was like usually I'm like that was it's because it was actually so true when you can learn to self validate, right? What was behind the laugh? What do you know? What have you seen that like because I'm in that boat. I think other outliers in that boat. We have it as we keep trying to do new things. So what have you seen about self validation that makes you giggle about it all?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a lesson that I've learned now that I can laugh about it because, and I say this from the sense of like a personal space and a business space. Like me asking my mother what she thinks about my business or what she thinks that I'm like, that is like talking to a brick wall. Not that she's not listening, but like, can she really tell me if what I have is a valuable business idea, if I'm going in the right direction? Or, I think a lot of times we don't trust ourselves. And so if you don't trust yourself, how can you expect someone else to trust you? Right? How can you expect someone, if you don't pay for services, how can you expect someone to pay for yours? I do think that in the universe things are reciprocal, right? So you want someone to pay, I don't know, $10,000 for your coaching or your package or whatever, but you have not yourself spent $10,000 on someone else coaching like I just believe that all of those things like matter. And um like if you yourself can't take that type of action, you're not going to be a receiver of the action on the other end. And I think people like kind of miss that. There's just another, like almost like a higher level of consciousness you have to have in order to be able to move forward. And with self-validation, it's kind of like, okay, a lot of times what I have to do, and I think it's because I practice this so much, is that whenever there's never a moment that in business I'm not afraid or I'm unsure, because that's every day, right? I mean, like, let's be real. It's every day, right? If what I'm doing does not scare me, I know I'm not doing the right thing. However, there is a side of your business that kind of should be mundane because that's how you know things are running well. So, like, you got the well-oiled machine, but when it's time to level up, you should be scared, like you're running through a haunted house and 20 ghosts are chasing you or whatever.
Got a
But
little Scooby Doo going on in my head right now.
yeah, you got look, it's Scooby Doo all day. But I think the self validation piece is more so of, okay, I have seen success before. Like I may have not been successful at this thing, or I'm afraid of what I'm about to do, but Krystal, I have seen success before. Therefore, I shall see success again. Like the odds or the probabilities on my side, the odds are ever in my favor because I've already seen success. So therefore, I will see it again. And I just tell myself that over and over and over. And that, like, everything you do, like, everything you do can't be, excellent 100%. That's something you have to work towards. And so when you have that mindset that, like, okay, yes, this was great, but this was great in where I'm at right now. Once I'm better, this is going to be even greater. So having that self-validation to know that, like, that's how you build it. It's kind of like, yeah, like this was great. You'll probably get external validation, right? But you yourself have to believe that you're going to be able to do great things and that you're capable of great things, even when things don't always go your way.
See, this is this like I'm loving this, and there are many places in there that I want to keep unpacking. But one of the things I'm going to get, we're going to wrap up for our conversation for today. One of the things I get is like you're really really good at seeing possibility, and it's deeply resonant to me because I was actually talking to a branding expert, and I want to get to like what is Outliers Edge really all about, and she's like the word possibilities is coming up. Possibilities, possibilities, possibilities. Playing with that. I'm playing with that overall. But I want to thank you and I want to acknowledge you because I get that you see possibilities. And even and what I hear is like, even when you don't, you're like, I don't see it in me at this moment. I saw someone else do it. So I know it's possible. And if they did it, like I know my pathway to get there. I will go surround myself with many people who have already seen it, live it, breathe it, make sure that I'm playing with them in their spaces, learning. I'll actually do what it is that they say, and then I will continue to iterate my way along that path. I appreciate how much you lean into possibility, how much you make it something that is also like something real for you. And I thank you for bringing that into our space here today. We're going to conclude here with just three quick questions. All right. The first one here is for anyone who wants to continue down the journey with you, who's like, is like, oh, I got to spend more time in Krystal's world. How can they best do that?
Yeah. You want to connect with me. Are we doing social media or just period?
You can just do whatever you want, whatever,
Oh,
yeah, like whatever
okay.
works for you. Like if they need to smoke signal you to get in your world, I've heard different things. So what's the best
Okay.
ways?
Well, I'm on all the socials, guys. So Instagram at I underscore simply underscore she, Facebook at I simply she, LinkedIn at Krystal Vernee. And if you specifically want to book time with me, just go to the link slayhardeveryday.co and click on my clarity call.
And there we have it. Crystal, question for you. What's been one insight or thing that you remembered as a result of our conversation today? This is for you here.
Insight. Let's see.
You don't have to have had one, but if there is one, I just want to
No,
gather.
I think there's several of them. But I think you're an excellent judge of character.
Hmm.
And I think and I think that you really see people for who they truly are. And that is rare.
I'll take that.
So
Thank you
I think
very much.
you can bring out the best in people. So I think that's how I can sum that up.
I appreciate that. I'll call that an outside and I'll take it. And let's do this here. Crystal, let's end with the what I call the time capsule question. And this is a message that you leave for yourself so that you can give the wisdom that you have to yourself to a version of you 10 years from now that might need to be reminded of this wisdom. Something that you know now that like 10 years from now, you're like, oh, thank you, past me for just getting my back. What's a message you would leave to yourself?
Ooh, that's probably a really long message. But if I could, I think I would say you belong in all rooms that you entered, even the ones you have not entered yet.
And with that, Crystal, we will conclude today's conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you for bringing not just your expertise, but your experience to this conversation. And thank you for walking through life as you. It is wonderful to be in your presence. And thank you for being the possibility. Like, there's a lot of fun we're going to have and outliers. I really invite you to spend as much time as you can in Crystal's world. Like, we're all going to grow from it. All right. Crystal, thanks once again.
Thank you.
Bye.